I'm Chef John Folse. Food is so much more than nutrition here in the South. Every weekend on Louisiana's back roads and bayous, our festivals celebrate the food, music, and cultures that make us unique. Why not join me as we visit the fairs and festivals of our state and cook up another great taste of Louisiana?
Funding for this program is provided by the Louisiana Department of Culture, Recreation, and Tourism. Vieux Carré, Zydeco, Atchafalaya, Natchitoches. In Louisiana, you'll say things you've never seen before.
In 1797, Etienne de Boré first successfully granulated sugar on a commercial basis near the city of New Orleans. Ever since that day, sugar has reigned king here in South Louisiana. Today, this white gold contributes over $140 million a month to our Louisiana economy. And believe me, that's reason enough for celebration. Let's go down to New Iberia and visit the Sugarcane Festival. Who in South Louisiana hasn't witnessed this scene often, the harvesting of sugarcane in the month of November each year? Some say it was Jesuit priests who first brought these sugar-laden stalks to the New World in the early 1700s. Many think it was this variety, known to us as blue ribbon, that was carried from the Caribbean to Louisiana by these early priests. Here in New Iberia, a contest is held each year between members of the local 4-H clubs. These young men must analyze stalks of sugarcane for signs of proper growth during the season. They even measure by hand the weight of each bundle to determine the water and sugar content of the cane. It's obvious how important an early education in the art of sugar growing is to these youngsters when they not only live in one of the largest sugar-producing states in the nation, but may very well choose a career in the industry. Another major activity at Louisiana's fairs and festivals is the local and regional livestock show. 4-H'ers, along with members of the Future Farmers of America, bring their prized livestock and farm animals to the festival to compete against one another. These youngsters have been caring for these animals from birth, and in many cases spend the majority of weekends, afternoons, and holidays grooming them for this competition. Although the experience of tending and nurturing to one's responsibility is an important lesson here, it's the camaraderie and sharing with others that is really the lesson learned. I tell you, I would really hate to be a judge at this type of competition. Certainly the most beautiful display at the festival is the regional quilt competition. These quilts are all handmade by a local quilting club known as the Peacemakers. One of the most interesting quilts is one created by Sue Martin entitled Gallstonella. Sue was at home recuperating from gallstone surgery when this design came to mind. Sue tells us about other quilts in the show.
Quilts in our quilt show have been made by the members of the Peacemakers. We have some of the baby quilts that were made by the grannies in our group. There is one quilt that was made as a family tree, as a history of the family. She's got little houses with all the family members' names on them.
Members of the Peacemakers are on hand during the festival to demonstrate many of the stitching techniques used in quilting and to give tours of the show, relaying the fascinating stories behind each design. The sugarcane industry is the foundation of the economy of South Louisiana and has been for over 200 years. I don't know about you, but that's reason enough for me to celebrate. It sure is reason enough to celebrate, and when you think $2 billion, almost $1.7 billion a year to the Louisiana economy, and you know we don't even know the origin of sugar in the world. We think the sugar cane originated back in China, but we don't have any records of that. We do know that the Arabs picked up sugar or sugar cane in Persia many, many centuries ago and brought it to the West. And then it was the Jesuit priest, as I mentioned, that brought it from the Caribbean, where the Spanish had brought it, into America and then ultimately to Louisiana. And in Audubon Park, I know many of you have been in and around Audubon Park on St. Charles Avenue where those beautiful streetcars go by. It was right there that Etienne de Boré first crystallized sugar on a commercial basis and the rest is history. $1.7 billion a year. In fact, this as a young guy, I worked in that industry myself because my father worked at St. James Sugar Cooperative, one of the great sugar mills on the river in St. James Parish, where all the beautiful plantation homes were. And I remember many Christmas days whacking sugarcane in the field as a young guy, thinking about those toys back home under a Christmas tree. But it's a great industry. We were brought up with it. Now, my guest that's coming to visit with me in the kitchen today is a guy who knows a lot more about sugarcane than I do. And Buckley Kessler is he works, his family's been at Cora, Texas, one of the great sugar mills in Louisiana for many, many years. And Buckley is running that mill. He's going to come in and talk to us a little bit about the industry, what it looks like today. And what's a plantation owner anyway, because we all have ideas of what that's all about. But first, we have to cook dishes from the Sugarcane Festival in New Iberia, one of the great festivals honoring one of the magnificent crops of Louisiana, white gold sugarcane. I want you to look at this gorgeous platter here because, in fact, here's a sugarcane stick. And I wanted to show you this. This is one of the stalks of sugarcane. And as a young kid, we used to go out into the cane fields with our little pocket knife and cut a whack of this sugar. And then we'd go ahead and chew on this, and we'd sit in the cane rows. And this was our candy many, many years ago growing up on a sugar plantation. So I want to show you what that cane looks like. Buckley and I will talk about that a little more. But look at the ribs. I want to do a barbecued rib dish. In fact, this dish is named after Cora, Texas, that great sugar mill where Buckley comes from. These are 3 different ribs that we're going to barbecue today. This, of course, is the short rib. This is the beef rib. And I like to boil this one first in a little sugar water to tenderize it before I throw it on the grill because it is a little chewy. This right here, the spare ribs, look how big it is. This is about a 3-pound spare rib. And then here, of course, is the choicest of the choice. This is the little baby back rib. This is the one that everybody goes to, but I kind of like the St. Louis rib myself. I think it has more meat on it, even though the baby back is a fantastic rib. Now I have to show you how to barbecue this. You can throw it on a pit outside, of course, but I love to oven barbecue, and I want to share this secret with you here because it is a secret. I think if you can barbecue it this way, nobody will ever know whether it was on the pit or not. In my little blue pan, I'm going to put my little tiny spare rib and my little tiny baby back rib. I'm going to put some Worcestershire sauce, some Lee and Parents. I'm going to put some Louisiana pepper sauce just to kind of spice it up a little bit. Some white wine. You want to kind of put some moisture on this piece of meat. Liquid smoke. Now, of course, this is the secret to giving it an oven barbecue, giving it the flavor of the pit. But be careful because this stuff is very strong. Liquid smoke is real strong. A little bit cane syrup. Cane syrup gives it the sweetness, but it'll also burn on the grill if you put too much, so don't put too much. And then root beer. This is right out of the bottle. Root beer has all the cloves, the cinnamon, the nutmeg, all of those wonderful flavors. Now, moisten that rib really nice, and then go ahead and season it. Salt, pepper, all those typical spices, a little salt, a little pepper. And then just get really creative here. Put a little thyme, basil. Of course, remember, you have to make it taste like barbecue, too. So I'm going to put some chili powder, some cumin. Just use that family recipe you have. You know what it is. Just go ahead. I'm putting chili powder here because it's got to have that chili barbecue flavor. I'm going to put a little touch of cumin on here. I'm going to give that nice spice. And then, of course, some garlic. What would this be without some fresh garlic? And what you want to do now is just take your hands and massage all of those flavors and turn it over and get some of those flavors on the underneath of this rib because you want to put all that great flavor on it here. And you can see how nice that is. You want to come back and season a little bit under as well to put that nice flavor there. And spice it up as much as you like. Now, I would take this and put it in about a 350-degree oven. Put a little foil on top. Don't seal it. Just let that steam get out. 350 degrees for about 15, 20 minutes with the bone up, the bone side up, and then uncover it, turn the bone side down, and let it brown nicely. But I have to make some barbecue sauce. Let me wash this off of my hands. And I want to put a barbecue sauce on the outside of this rib. Of course, you want to remember barbecue sauces. My God, everybody has their own idea of what that ought to be, but I want to show you a really quick version of my favorite barbecue sauce. Very quickly done. I'm going to throw a little buttery flavored oil into my black iron skillet to start this off and kick that fire up. And as we do in Louisiana cooking, naturally, onions, celery, bell pepper, put all those great, this is kind of a chunky style barbecue sauce. Sweet, too. Coming out of Cora, Texas, I mean, you have to have sugar. So I'm going to put some garlic in here. All those good flavors. And kind of saute that around for just a minute here. Then I'm going to put some fresh tomatoes, because after all, this is a tomato sauce, so you want to definitely have some nice fresh tomatoes. Tomato sauce. Now you could put ketchup, but ketchup has sugar in it already, so you want to be careful not to put too much sugar if you're going to add brown sugar or cane syrup, one of those nice things. Simmer all of this for just a second, and then come in and add all of your wonderful flavors. I'm going to put some cloves. Cloves will give it a really nice spicy flavor. Some cinnamon, some cumin, some mustard seed. Just get, go wild here, all the good flavors. Creole mustard. Put some Creole mustard in the dish. That'll give it that Louisiana flavor. And then, of course, some nice brown sugar and a squeeze of lemon juice. Now, you can spice it up with a little bit. Oh, you can put some hot sauce in it. You can put some cayenne peppers. Just go ahead and put whatever you want here. Let your imagination be your guide. A little touch of water. And then finish it with a little bit more of that root beer. And I like to put a little bit liquor, whether it's brandy or whether it's one of those wines, one of those fruit wines from Louisiana. But today I'm going to use Southern Comfort, a little liquor from the South. A little Southern Comfort, put some in, and sometimes this will flame up on you, so be careful. Just kind of put that fire down in there, and if it's hot enough, it'll flame up. Now, once this goes, season it, salt and pepper, and it's ready to go. You can put a little cane syrup in it, too, if you wanted to. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you what these ribs look like, because they're really nice when they come out of the oven. Take a look at that. And I would paint a little bit more of this sauce if I wanted to just touch it up right at the end. Just put a paintbrush in there and go right over the top of the ribs with a little bit of this really nice Cora Texas barbecue sauce. It is fantastic. And that's what these ribs look like from the Sugarcane Festival in New Iberia, Louisiana. Oven-baked barbecued ribs. Can you imagine that? Now, of course, how many other dishes can come out of a Louisiana festival? Thousands of them. And I want to show you one of my real favorites that I picked up at the Sugarcane Festival. It's a chicken dish, and a really, really nice chicken dish. It's called chicken brulo. And when you think of brulo, you think of burnt sugar, something that's caramelized or really, really brown. And that's what I have here on my little tray. I have some chicken that's already cut into eighths, and I'm going to go ahead and season the chicken with a little salt, a little pepper. Just go ahead again and spice it up. You want to put a lot of seasoning on this, and go ahead and put some of the herbs. Put some basil, thyme, all of those nice things, and just kind of flavor it up until you get it to the flavor that you like. And again, I think people should flavor things the way they were brought up in their own kitchens, in their own homes, because that's what they're ultimately going to like to cook anyway. So I'm going to take this chicken. Now, you have to saute it first to get it really nice and brown, and you want to get that color working on the outside of that chicken. So let me go ahead and put this skillet up here, because I have to get a nice hot pot to brown it in. I'm going to put, again, some buttery flavored oil in here just to start to saute it. Now, just go ahead and put it skin side down. Go ahead and get that nice sauteing going. This is going to kind of be a sticky chicken, sticky style chicken, a real nice southern style without a batter or a breading on the outside. So it's going to take a little while longer to cook because you have to cook it on a lower heat. Now, once that's all in like this, of course, you want to move it around and kind of kick that chicken around the skillet a little bit. And again, just assume now that this has been sitting here cooking for a couple of minutes. You want to let it get golden brown on one side, but how do you make the brulo? Well, I have to show you. I have to make a little caramel, and I want to show you how that's done. I have a little skillet right next to it. I'm going to kick that fire on nice and high. You want to put about ½ cup of sugar in the bottom of your dark skillet. To make a caramel, you have to melt the sugar. So I'm going to put a touch of water. A lot of chefs don't put water in the caramel, but I like to put just enough water to start the process. I want to get that sugar melting in the bottom of the skillet, and it only takes a couple of minutes to really get that nice caramel starting to go here. And once you get it going, you want to cook it until it gets golden brown. Now, I have some already done, so I'm not going to show you how to get that all the way. Take a look at this skillet here. You can see the color of that brulo, the color of that nice caramel going right here in the skillet. So very, very nice color. That's what's going to color this chicken dish here as it starts to get nice and golden brown. You want to turn this a couple of times, just get that chicken turned around the skillet, and you can see how quickly it browns here. Now, I have some already done, so I'm going to move this out of the way, and then get this chicken right here. Take a look at this one. It's already done, nice and golden. And, of course, I have to come back and season it again with all of my typical flavors, onions, celery, bell pepper. You know how those things are, a lot of different flavors in here. And it's going to start to saute very quickly. And then I'm going to add the brulo. I'm going to add my flavor of the caramel to the chicken. Make sure that fires off. I'm going to go ahead and add my caramel. Take a look at this. I'm going to spread it right over the top of the chicken. Not only will it give it a sticky chicken look, but it's going to add some nice, sweet brulo flavor to the bottom of that pot. Now I'm going to add a little chicken stock. This chicken's already been seasoned, of course, with all of the herbs and spices. Finish it with a little green onions, finish it with a little parsley, and let it simmer with the top on, just like that. Put the top on that chicken and just let it sit there and slowly roast with that sugar for a couple of minutes. You know, I have to show it. It's going to be beautiful. I want to show you what this one looks like. I have a platter of it already done. Just take a look at this. In my little, I have, again, my little terracotta pot. Take a look at that chicken down in there. This is my brulo chicken with the nice brown sugar look to it. A couple other things that I found at the festival I have to share with you. Just take a look here. I have some spicy Cajun meatballs with a little cane syrup on top of them. Just takes a minute to make. I have some baked beans. Naturally, we bake our beans as they do in Boston, but with brown sugar and cane syrup. Right next to that, my favorite breakfast dish. Look at that. Lost bread or pain perdu, and I put a little cane syrup right on top of that to finish that nice, nice flavor using all of the ingredients of the brown sugar of the cane festival. Now, I told you that Buckley Kessler was coming to visit with me, my good buddy from Cora Texas Sugar Mill, and I can hear him coming on into the kitchen right now, and he is a great cook, too. How you doing, Buckley?
Yeah. How you doing
Come on
today?
in, man. Boy, I like that shirt. Huh? You got one like that from me, all right?
Oh, of course.
What do you have?
Brought you a little cane syrup from the factory. We don't sell that. We just produce that.
Oh,
for,
man,
for a few
black
good
gold.
friends.
Black gold. This
It's,
is great. This is what we put on ducks and geese.
Yep, that's for sure. Yeah,
Cora
I
Texas
have
sugar.
some
I'm going to
use
keep
for
that
you.
in my cabinet.
Okay. And I brought you this book on the Louisiana history that we've
Oh
been
my God!
speaking
Yeah,
about.
this is the book that we talked about with the all of the old history of the sugar
About
kettles.
200 years of it.
Yeah, and we're doing an open hearth sugar kettle at the university where our culinary school is. So I'm going to use all of this.
Okay.
You know, we were talking about pralines last time we had dinner together. We were talking about the brown sugar and the white sugar, which was best. I decided to combine the two. Give me a hand. We're going to make a few little pralines here because I think most people really aren't quite sure exactly what pralines are. Let me give you a spoon. In this pot here, we have some brown sugar and white sugar, and I'm going to kick my fire way high because you want to melt that. Just kind of, yeah, just go ahead and, yeah, just mess that up for me. That looks pretty good, huh? That look like the sugar you make there or what?
It looks a little better than this.
I'm going to put a little butter in it. This is pralines, a little vanilla, and then, of course, milk. And you want to melt all of this, and we're going to use a thermometer. We can actually use a candid thermometer to mix all of those sugars together and get it up to 238 degrees. And once it hits 238 degrees, or the soft ball state, then we know we're ready to pull the pralines out of the sugar. But I'm going to add, look at these gorgeous pecans. We dump everything together right into the pot. Just stir that around in there. We dump it all together and mix it in. And then, of course, let 238, take it off of the fire, whip it until it gets nice and creamy, and we have a whole bunch of pralines. I'll show you a whole platter of them. I think everybody gets the idea, okay? I want to show you this also while we're here. This is all the different types of sugars that come out of the mill. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what those are?
Okay, this is the sugar that we produce.
This one right
is
here?
what we ship in bulk to the refinery. This year we're going to produce about 168 million pounds of that. And then when it gets to the refinery, then they're going to melt it down, and then whatever their industrial users want is what they'll make. This
So
would
they
be
go from this to the white sugar?
Sure, this would be the white sugar, and then this would be the light brown sugar, this would be the dark brown sugar, and then of course the powdered sugar,
and
confectioner
of course sugar cane to
all
chew on, right?
sugarcane.
Well, good. So you actually made, let's go over here. I want to show the pralines, and I also want to talk a little bit about the, why don't you have a seat right here?
Okay.
And I want to talk a little bit about the sugar mill, but take a look at these gorgeous pralines. Y'all have to get a good look at this plate right here. Once the pralines are put onto wax paper with the, look how gorgeous that is right here. Isn't that nice? Buckley, when we were traveling down Highway 1, I passed your sugar mill with a big smokestack that goes up in the sky, Cora, Texas on the side of it. How did you get that name, Texas and Louisiana?
Well, my grandfather was involved in a sugar factory, which was Cora Plantation. Cora Plantation dates back to 1817. The mill burned down in 1920, and then in 1927, my grandfather, along with some other people, bought interest into the Texas factory, and they changed the name to Cora Texas.
Texas was another mill, right?
Yeah, another mill about a quarter mile away, and then my father was involved in the business after that, Buckley Kessler.
How long have you personally been in the sugar business?
Well, since I was about 12 or 13, I worked summers and weekends and holidays. And then when I graduated from college in '76, I was there full time.
Is the sugar industry a plantation sugar mill? Is that a bad business for kids? I know I grew up in it, and I often thought, Mom, here I am in the cane field again. Is it really how did you feel about growing up there?
Well, I loved it. There's always a lot of uncertainty in the business, like anything else, but we've been here 200 years, and hopefully we'll be here another 200.
What about technology? Has technology changed, or how has it changed over the last few years?
Just drastically. Went from 2,000 mills in the state down to 19 now. And,
only 19 mills
only
in
19,
all of Louisiana?
And there are talks between 8 factories right now of mergers, so we're going to be down to quite a few less in the future.
So are we doing less sugar?
No, we're producing a whole lot more. Louisiana produces over 1 million tons a year. In fact, now we're producing twice what Hawaii produces.
So the size of the mills,
much larger.
Everything associated with the industry has just made us better at what we do.
Yeah.
Huh.
Much larger.
How is people think of sugar cane, those stalks? I know we get tourists into Louisiana and they see these massive cane fields and they've never seen sugar cane before, and they always ask one question: how does cane differ from, say, beets or one of these other things? What's the difference?
Well, beets are actually look like a large potato. They're grown in the ground and then harvested in. The processing is totally different. And as you know, the cane is, everything is above ground. And from a planting, we generally get 3 crops from it, whereas beets are planted every year.
So with sugar cane, we have stubble in the ground, and then we cut it down. It comes up again and again and again.
Yes.
Yeah. What about the plantation owner, the sugar plantation owner? You know, people have visions of these gorgeous white mansions, antebellum gowns. They have gone with the wind, gone through their mind. What's a plantation owner look like today?
Well, I'm a plantation owner, and I go to work in the dark, and I don't go home till
I don't know. You kind of look dashing and debonair. So
it's a little different today.
You're a plantation owner. Your family has been in the business for so many years. Do you find that it's a labor of love? I mean, day in, day out, weekends, week out, holidays.
Sure, and it seems like people that get involved in business, sometimes they'll leave for a while, but they always come back. It's just in the blood, I guess.
Brings them back in. What about a number of people employed in the industry in Louisiana?
There's about 32,000 people employed today, and it's grown in 22 parishes and on better than 400,000 acres.
Yeah, so about a third of Louisiana is under sugarcane, so to speak. A third on the water, a third on the sugarcane.
Right.
So what about, we hear about government subsidies, we hear about government control of everything. How does that affect the sugar industry?
Sugar, about 15 years ago, was the first commodity to get out from under the subsidy programs. It operates today at no cost to the taxpayer whatsoever. And so, we hear about the government wants to make all these reforms, but we've made those changes.
Right. Is it good or is it bad for you? You hear the stories about young kids, get them off of sugar, get them away from sweets. Is sugar bad?
No, not really, not everything that I've read about it. Sugar, 1 gram of sugar has about 4 calories, just like bread, rice, many fruits, potatoes, those kind of things. I think it's just
Well, you know, I thought it was
Just
the
get
sugar. I
excited
thought it was
about
the
things.
sugar making me look like this. It must be something else. Buckley, thanks so much for coming to visit with us, and thank all of you for stopping by as we talk about fairs and festivals, and come back again as we continue to cook up more great Taste of Louisiana. Buckley and I are going to eat sugar and see if it's bad for us. A praline here.
For this program is provided by the Louisiana Department of Culture, Recreation, and Tourism. Vieux Carré, Zydeco, Atchafalaya, Natchitoches. In Louisiana, you'll say things you've never seen before.
More information on events in Louisiana can be yours at no cost. Call 1-800-36-GUMBO for your free Louisiana tour guide listing festivals, attractions, and points of interest throughout the Bayou State. Chef John Folse's Louisiana Sampler, a companion cookbook to this series, contains the colorful history and culinary secrets behind Louisiana's most exciting festivals. For your copy, send a check or money order for $19.95 to Louisiana Public Broadcasting. Or use your credit card by calling toll-free 1-800-973-7246.